Alright, I'm doing whether the Taters Incorporated can handle an upgrade to Windows 10 with their current hardware. Their hardware is over a decade old. So, Windows 8.1 or Windows 10, we had the option. Windows 8.1 is only supported to 2023. Windows 10 came out 2 years later. For the extended release, is supported to 2025, and it might even be extended even longer, depending on when the next Windows release is. The boot times, no difference between 8.1, slightly in favor of 8.1. A lot of enterprise security features from 8.1 are carried over to 10, so they're both secure. 8.1 had a lot of security stuff. With the enterprise version, you can opt out of the regular Windows updates, and only receive essential security updates, not the new features that come periodically rolled out to regular Windows 10 users. Both Windows 8.1 and Windows 10 have secure boot, eliminating the threat for some of the most harmful types of malware. So I chose Windows 10 because of the extended release time. Not extended, the customer support, the software support. And it's newer, it should be slightly more secure, more stable. Windows 10 requirements: 1 gigahertz or faster processor, 1 gig RAM for 32-bit, 2 gigs for 64-bit, free hard drive space 16 gigs for 32, 20 for 64-bit, displays 800 by 600. Currently, the current hardware, there's 56 by 25 Dell Precision Tower 5810s, 4 gigs of RAM, half a terabyte hard drive, 22 plus 8 plus 6 Toshiba Satellite A665s, that's 4 gigabyte of RAM, 300 gigabytes hard drive, and first generation i5s. 120 Dell Optiplex 320s, Pentium D, 4 gigs of RAM, 300 gigabyte hard drive. 14 plus 5 Optiplex 755, 4 gigs of RAM, 300 gigabyte hard drive. 26 Dell Optiplex GX110 is 4 gigs of RAM, 300 gigabytes. That's 282 workstations total. All hardware runs at least the first generation Intel i5 processors. All hardware meets the minimum requirements of at least 4 gigs per system. All the computers have 4 gigs. Space of at least 300 gigabytes per system. System requirements met on all machines. Then upgrade is recommended to the hardware, but is not necessary at this time. Okay. So, we're going to go through these computers real quickly. This is the first one, Dell Precision 58010 mid-tower workstation. This is a very nice workstation. It's still $800. It uses an Intel Xeon processor. That's for a server. This is a current version. So, 8 gigs of RAM, terabyte hard drive. Might even have a graphics processor. Jesus, really, really bright. So yeah, this one's good to go. We can keep these if wanted. But I think they might be using DDR2. So even these, if you want to get a new version of this, I would recommend it. The Toshiba Satellite A665. This is over a decade old. It comes with, for a new one, Windows 7. It's considered mid-size. Has an i3. But they said they had an i5 at 2.6. Dual core. It uses DDR3 SD RAM, so we're good to go on that. We could still keep these probably. If it's in the budget, I would recommend fixing that. But they have a 4 gig. This is the one where we start getting to where we need to definitely upgrade. So the processor does make it. This might be a 32-bit system. Mini tower. VGA, 250 gigs. Memory is 2 gigabytes. This is a DDR2 memory. Processor's at 2.8. It's a duo, so it's dual core. Yeah, very old. Dell 755 at $125. Should be a little better. RAM, against DDR2 SD RAM. It's at 3 gigs Intel Core processor. And the last one, I had to hunt this one down. This is going to be a DDR2 system as well. Intel Pentium 3 processor, 1 gigahertz. These will definitely have to be replaced. But it will run it though. But it definitely needs to be replaced. I think these are all, this one might be a 32-bit system. I'll go ahead and yep, that's going to be a 32-bit system. Now if we come over here and we do, let's see, this one is going to be Intel Core Duo. And this one's 64-bit. So these, I would definitely replace those Optiplex. Not Optiplex, the Optiplex GX110s. Those need to be replaced. Alright, back to the slides. Alright, so why is it important to upgrade the RAM? So these computers are over a decade old. 4 gigs of DDR2 RAM is not as energy efficient as current generation DDR4. DDR4 runs at 1.2 volts, DDR3 is at 1.5, and DDR2 is at 2.5. When you're talking about, that's not a lot, but when you're talking about 282 computers, that does add up, and it will save money on the energy bill for upgrading to DDR4. If you were to have a few thousands of these at some type of data farm or server rack, it even adds up even more. Most current hardware is running DDR2 memory. The performance between the two memories is negligible for company purposes. 4 gigs is currently the minimum for most desktops. 8 gigs will be needed in the future. I'm going to assume next Windows version might need 2 gigs to run, might even need 4 gigs to run. Most browsers are going to eat up more than 4 gigs of RAM. I know my netbook uses 2 gigs of DDR4 RAM, but I use a very lightweight Linux distro on it to make up for it, and I don't really do anything with it. It doesn't do a lot. It's difficult. It's a little slow, but it still runs, and I don't want to buy a new netbook. It still works. You know, why would I spend the money? If I had a lot of money to upgrade, I would totally upgrade, and that is what we will get to. Definitely going to upgrade to DDR4 memory. Processor upgrade. First gen i5s also don't run as efficiently as the current gen i5s, just like the RAM. An i5 750 runs at 95 max TDP. Core i5 8500, that's current gen i5, runs at 65 max TDP. TDP is not directly related to power usage, but it's closely related. It's that's how hot they run. It's a measure of how much power and heat they give off. So you're going to run 67% faster single core speed, 79% faster quad core speed, 153% faster multi-core advantage. So, to visualize this, currently we're using 339th out of the benchmarks. Speed ranked 302nd, 32nd. So the current i5, and that's about the same price. If you bought it new back then, buying a new one now, you're going to have a huge jump. Here's the numbers. Currently 21,000 user benchmarks for that one, only 4,000. So this is still not, it's a better value. It is cheaper, more recent, much faster single core speed, much faster single core FP speed. It's better. It's better in every way. Obviously, it's the newer version. These came out the third quarter of 2009. Currently, second quarter of 2018. Brand new. Okay, refurbished computers. Current Dell Optiplex computer the company has is less than $100 on Newegg. It's at 99. It's $100 on Newegg, and we saw the other ones, $40 for the cheapest computer. An upgrade to a new refurbished Optiplex 7010 is $150. If you look for refurbished computers, and this is going to be running, yeah, the i5-34. So I did compare these two, 3470. Still way better. Got 8 gigs DDR3. I would prefer DDR4, but still, there's a huge jump going from 2.5 volts to 1.5 volts. And it comes with Windows 10 Professional, 64-bit. Current hardware. So in conclusion, the current hardware is, we don't need to upgrade the current hardware. There's only a few computers that would barely be able to run it, but they'd still be able to run it. The old hardware is almost a decade old and is showing its age. Windows 10 will operate on all the current computers. There's no delay expected with the current hardware configuration. I suggest Windows 10 installation begin on January 1st and continue throughout that week. Purchase of 10 new refurbished computers should begin at that time as well and repeat for the next 28 weeks until hardware is up to date. If affordable, current cost, I would guess $150, $70 per computer. That's $1,700 a week and purchase, and you can stop the upgrades at any time. You can definitely first get these 26 Dell Optiplex GX10s out of the way. So we'll start the upgrade 1 week early. We'll try to get at least 30 new computers and replace these old GX110s. I think we're good to go. References. I will make sure this is I'll make sure this is up to date before I turn it in.